Welcome to this week's episode of that 4x4 show. This week I sent Tumelo off to the Kalahari to test an interesting piece of new equipment, and we get to check out the Ford Ranger T6 Arctic truck with 35-inch tires and rims. We also head off to Heidelberg and drive their 4x4 trail. We have a new project vehicle in this episode, and we also get to test the new Range Rover Sport.
Okay, I'm Benny. I'm at Red Sands in Kuruman, Northern Cape. And according to your message, I must now sit here and wait. Can you wait for someone to get here? Now, really?
Yes, Mr. T, I have a bit of an adventure plan for you. Thankfully, Mr. T is a master at killing time in the most entertaining fashion, like playing rock, paper and scissors by himself, getting better acquainted with Red Sands luxury ablutions, or by preparing himself for the adventure by doing pull-ups. Finally, after keeping Tumelo pondering the meaning of this adventure for an appropriately annoying amount of time...
What is this? Hilux with a home strapped on the back? Nogal neat. Wonder what this is. Maybe this is who I'm supposed to see. Jaron Benny.
Meet the Klipspringer row-row camper, Mr. T, or roll-on, roll-off camper. Since you always make a woo-ha about having a sleep in your little tent, I thought I'd give you the whole 9 yards. It's a bit like a motorhome, but just not at all. Instead, it's more like a motor camp. Anyway, while Ronnie Wambach gives Mr. T the lowdown on the motor camp, I'm going to devise some cunning tests for Mr. T to perform with the Klipspringer.
You can let it go. It will lock itself into position.
And then how much does this camper weigh?
The camper like this, fully loaded, can weigh up to 750 kilos, but it depends on what you load
What you
into
pack,
it.
yeah.
So, but empty dry weight is 480 kilo.
Okay, all right.
I brought you the easy way of doing it, so let me show you quickly. They will both be on the same level. Mr. T, how this works, the principle of this is, because it's got rollers in the front that you want the pressure on them, is you've got to lift the rear of the camper so that it comes off the vehicle. And then it's similar principle as a wheelbarrow. You've got to lift the rear so that it can roll on the front. And that makes it the roll on, roll off principle.
So Ronnie, as you drive off, I'm assuming that there's feet in the front that are gonna latch down or something like that.
It's got all the legs that needs it to be standing wherever.
Okay.
The front leg is folded in underneath its belly.
Makes sense.
So as you drive out, that front leg drops out by itself.
All right.
Let me take it out.
Now off you go, do your thing.
I will do that. Thank you.
There we go.
You see, this is the guide frame that does all the work for you on your vehicle.
Okay.
So you've got this packing space. So all the equipment that normally goes with your vehicle,
Stays
like
in the
tow
vehicle.
ropes and your pumps and all those things. Now you keep in here extra fuel and water, whatever you want to carry with. The nice thing about this, now your weight is offloaded and you can do a course, 4x4 course easily, no problem. Yeah. Now you can level it. It's got a bubble level in here that you can set it up completely water level and you can sleep nice and tightly inside your bed without rolling.
Okay.
Open the rear door. It's mounted on a gas strut, so it will
stay there. So how many people does it sleep on, Ronnie?
You've got space for 2 on the top, the double bed there, and then on your side room there's enough space for 4 more people.
All right.
Yeah.
I saw these and I've been looking. All the way out.
All the way around and drop it off on this side.
Hala, hala.
En dan heb je maar die aan.
Oh, sexy.
Away you go. Mr. T, it's a full-on double bed.
There we go.
So yes, enough space to have a good night's sleep. Just mind your head every time. I
Okay, no, there's nothing in
tend
the
to
head.
bump it
There's nothing in the head, don't worry.
empty. Or is there not enough space anymore for all the knowledge?
All the rubbish I've put in my head. Empty places.
Yes. So you put it on. There you go. So as you can see, that it took a longer time to set up the awnings like it is at the moment, but we do have an option for a wing type awning, which makes setup much easier. But for longer periods of camping, this actually works very well. You've got the awning on the back side, and you can get the awning on the front side as well. So it gives you coverage all around the camp.
But I think the greatest feature for me is that we've now set up camp, the sun is going down, and then we can just go and enjoy a game drive.
Yes, that's what the whole idea was,
Yeah,
is to be able to do that.
I
So
still say very sexy.
I like it, man.
Looks like Mr. T and Ronnie have finished setting up camp. Time then for a bit of campfire and then a cozy bed in his motor camp. Night night, Mr. T.
Good night!
It's pretty and it's tough, and it's also pretty darn tough. But we took our standard Fortuner along to the Heidelberg 4x4 trail. If you are looking for a bit of a 4x4 challenge and you don't want to drive to Timbuktu to get one, then this is just the ticket. Welcome to the Heidelberg 4x4 trail, situated just outside Heidelberg, about an hour's drive south of Johannesburg. The property, which also supports camping and boasts a small swimming pool and play area for the kids, along with limited ablutions, essentially consists of 3 4x4 loops. The first of this is the mountain track. This rocky track leads up the mountain and covers some pretty rough terrain. If you plan on bringing your stock standard 4x4 here, note that trendy side steps don't enjoy this track much. Ideally, you need a spotter on this section to guide you through the worst parts. The main track leading up and down this mountain is what 99% of the 4x4 enthusiasts use. But those in the know say there is another lesser known section that is much tougher than this, and that is only suited to modified 4x4s. So we'll just stick to the main track with our stock standard Fortuner then. The next loop is situated in a quarry area, and it features plenty of tricky climbs and descents. There are various options here, and for the more adventurous drivers and suitably modified vehicles, there are a few humdingers on offer. The main tracks are mostly suited to standard 4x4s though, but just mind those side steps. The last loop features another climb up a mountain, but this is less rocky than loop 1. This part of the property also features some big axle twisters with some slippery mud adding some extra drama. Local 4x4 fundi Saki Kutsia guided us to this obstacle, a seemingly impossible feat for a stock standard Toyota Fortuner. But with the experienced Saki spotter, the Fortuner amazingly made it up here as well. The Heidelberg Trail offers a great day's 4x4 outing for Gauteng-based enthusiasts who are looking for a bit of a challenge but who don't want to go overlanding to find a suitable venue. Check out our Facebook page for the contact information of this trail. While the Rubicon's rear bumper is being manufactured and fitted, let's introduce you to this week's project vehicle, South Africa's best-selling SUV.
This is our Toyota Fortuner. It's white in color, it blends with anything. We use this vehicle for all the trips that we do, 4x4 routes, everything, the back routes, this is what we do.
That's right, Mr. T. This Fortuner 3-litre D4D has seen a lot of action over the last few months, and it has done so without a moment's trouble, and it still feels as solid as the day we took delivery of it. However, as can be expected, living such a tough outdoorsy life, there have been some cosmetic moments.
True to the name, the bashing plate has taken a bit of a bashing. Standard size steps, as you can see, they've taken a bit of a beating.
Of course, these cosmetic issues can easily be resolved by fitting some aftermarket accessories, like this Fortuner, which features an upgraded suspension, replacement front and rear bars, more robust all-terrain rubber, and a few more galloping horses under the bonnet. But what if you want to stand out a bit more in a crowd of Fortuners?
Then head out to 4-wheel drive trucking company out in Pretoria East.
Introducing project vehicle number 2, a 2009 Toyota Fortuner 3-litre D4D 4x4 with just over 100,000 kilometers under the belt. This Fortuner will be transformed into what is known as a mini Arctic truck, so it will have slightly bigger wheels and tires. It will also come fully equipped to tackle any 4x4 track or trail. I've always said that the Ford Ranger T6 is probably one of the better vehicles available in the South African market at the moment, but Gary Swemmer decided to make it bigger. It's big and it's bold, and it's also the first of its kind in the world. This is the first 35-inch Ford Ranger T6 to see the light, and over the past year, 4-wheel drive trucking company's Gary Swemmer has used this unit for research and development.
This vehicle was the first one in South Africa, the first Ford Ranger T6 to be built in South Africa, designed and developed here. Myself and my team tackled this vehicle about a year ago, and it all started with 35-inch wheels. A little bit of bodywork had to take place, and then obviously the molding of the wheel flares. We designed the flares, put them on, and this was the final product.
A massive ostrich wing, which folds open in a matter of seconds, provides instant shade for those roadside lunch stops or breaks. The Alucab aluminium canopy features a whole lot of overland tricks too, like a full kitchen on one side, as well as a compartment for all your recovery gear on the other side. Inside the canopy, an Alucab drawer system is fitted, as well as a water tank with a convenient outlet at the back for easy access. The control panel for the auxiliary battery system is also located here. A seemingly small but highly effective and needed upgrade is this custom dust cover. It keeps most of the dust out of our canopy. So besides the 35-inch wheels and custom fiberglass wheel arches and the upgraded TJM suspension, the Ford features numerous other upgrades. The snorkel is a standard Ford part, but the front bumper is not quite. This TJM unit is fitted with a winch and LED lights, and there's also a custom bash plate in place to protect the 3.2-litre turbo diesel drivetrain. On the roof lives an aluminium roof rack fitted with 2-vision X-LED spotlights, as well as the rather chunky 35-inch spare wheel, which clearly doesn't fit into the standard underbody space anymore. Although Gary says the 6-speed automatic version would probably have been easier to live with on a daily basis, the 6-speed manual gearbox and transfer case, along with a rear differential lock, allows for plenty of off-road ability. It's highly capable in both overland conditions as well as tight technical 4x4 tests, like this one, which poses a real challenge for any 4x4. And the Ford, with its wide track and mud-terrain tires, simply lines up here. So this truck is certainly not only suited to Arctic conditions, it can certainly go the African off-road mile. And now it's time to find out if the fancy pants Range Rover Sport can really go off-roading. This is the latest Range Rover Sport, and if you have to judge this book by its cover, it will certainly be an international bestseller. But the beautiful Rangy is actually a pucker off-roader too, well, in theory anyway. It has a transfer case and Land Rover's terrain response off-road system. It also has an air suspension system that can jack the big Sport to surprisingly high levels for off-roading. Right, so time to find out if it can do the off-road mile 2 at the base 4 track. On the axle twisters, the big Range Rover putters on regardless, electronics locking the front and rear axles as required. The computer certainly does the trick here, and ground clearance is cool as well. Next are the steep incline and decline tests, and with 215 kilowatts and 600 Newton meters of torque, as well as hill descent control which works a charm, the Sport hardly battles here. Next we head to some mud and climbs. Here too, the Sport gets through okay, less fuss than some other 4x4s. The big drop into the mud is next. Here the Sport did get its knickers in a bit of a knot. On the extremely steep and slippery descent, we had to keep the speed down by applying the brakes to prevent nose-diving the Sport into the mud. But it gets there, and it hardly noticed the slippery mud. And this is where we call it quits with this 1.3 million rand hunk of technology and its 20-inch wheels that were not designed with off-roading in mind. The verdict? This is one amazing machine, but one can hardly imagine a typical owner doing what we just did in his or her Rangy. What we are particularly looking forward to is the year 2020 from a 4x4ing point of view. By then, this Sport will have devalued some, and as a pre-owned 4x4 will form an amazing platform to tackle overland trips with more suitable tyres fitted, of course. And now it's back to Mr. T and his little project with the row your boat ashore. Will he be able to complete all the tests that I've given him? Oi, Mr. T. Mr. T, it's time to get cracking, lad. And I've just sent you an SMS to get the show on the road.
Much warmer inside. What's coming in? Hope you had like a night's rest because you're going to need it today. Okay. Strike your camp and get ready to travel. I got a few tests for you and the Klipspringer. Benny, what now?
With the help of the Klipspringer guys, Mr. T soon has his mobile home, well, mobile.
The Klipspringer camper is on the bakkie. We're ready to go now. Just hang on. Oh, message from Mbeni. Well done. Now you have to travel from Red Sands to White Sands. Red Sands Nature Reserve, to be precise, 200 kilometers away. But you may not use the N14 at any time.
Hey, you're already crooking, Mr. T. You're not supposed to go on the N14, but it looks like he's heading back to Kuruman first. I see his plan. He's aiming for the dirt road south of Kuruman. Fair enough. That seems like a good alternative plan to reach Witstrand. And on that note, I think it's time for another message.
Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is my first test. Driving on a piece of gravel. So let's see how the camper does. There we go.
And off he goes. This Hilux is fitted with an airbag system for the rear suspension to help cope with the extra 700 kilograms of the Klipspringer camper. And it seems as if Mr. T is having no issues there, as the 3-litre D4D engine and the 4x4 drivetrain, locked in 4 high, manfully carries the camper towards Postmasburg. After dispatching the booming small big town of Postmasburg, it's high time for another message, since it seems way too easy so far.
Oh, a message came through. Let me just see what that is. Doesn't Bernie sleep? Okay. Towing a caravan or trailer on a dirt road makes it difficult to make a U-turn. You will now test the U-turn capabilities of a Klipspringer on a dirt road. Benny, I don't get lost as much as you do. Please now, eh? But anyway, just for your sake, I'll make a U-turn.
Making a U-turn with a caravan in tow can be an adventure of its own, but with a Klipspringer, well, Mr. T just has to contend with a Hilux's standard turning circle. This is looking all too easy so far. But what's that now? All the hard work has made Mr. T ravishingly hungry. So he stops for a roadside lunch before heading off in the direction of Witstrand again. I have a few more surprises up my sleeve, like this little mountain pass. No caravans are allowed. Let's see if the extra weight of the camper will make an impression on the Hilux on this steep section. Okay, apparently not. Just one more test remains. A 4x4 driving test. In sand, nice, sticky, hot Kalahari sand, on a private farm near Witstrand.
It should be easy with a normal Hilux, but let's see how the Hilux behaves with the camper at the back. So for now, I'm just gonna let the air out, get my pressure right and see how it does.
Again, with a bit of extra momentum to compensate for the additional weight on the buck, the Hilux storms up and over the sand dunes. I'll have to think up a more challenging test. In the meantime, Mr. T and his camper car arrives at the Witstrand Nature Reserve.
Umbeni, I'm back at camp. I'm no more driving. My nerves are shot. I'm thirsty. This thing can do it. Phone, stepping on it. I'm out.
Yada, 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 fish paste. Whatever. I'll see you next week.